What have I truly been feeling lately? I made the first video I made on my YouTube channel was the fragmentation of me, where I spoke mainly about what I have been feeling, and this is another video. It's not a part 2, it's not directly correlated with that, though it's another one where I'm just going to talk about my feelings lately, and I don't have a script, so I'll see. I haven't taken notes on this, so we'll see how it goes. But I've been feeling very opposite feelings lately. I've been feeling a lot of despair, a lot of sadness, and yeah, an overwhelming sense of sadness and just like not just an overwhelming sense of sadness, but I also feel hopeful for the present and the future for me. And I have these two, I feel both of these feelings pretty strongly, and because they're opposite, it's very up and down for me. My days overall are very up and down. I feel an overwhelming sense of despair because there's reasons for it. It's not just one aspect of my life. There's reasons for it, and I think I know some of it stems from my being in school for most of my young life, and then turning 18 and okay, now I'm an adult and and making the decisions I made, and now I'm here, just having my job. And it's not the worst by any means. I could be in a lot worse of a situation. So when I say all of this, it's not, oh, if you heard that, my chair hit the table. It's definitely not the worst position I could be in. It's not, a horrible life that I have. It's, it would be nice to not probably feel as sad as I do most of the days. I have to keep taking pauses. I'm taking pauses because I have to, I'm thinking on the spot of what I want to say, trying not to take too long to say what I want to say. What I kind of like about this, is that I have some trouble telling others my visceral feelings, my deep feelings, or how I'm truly feeling. And so it's weird that, okay, like I can make a video, right, and post it on YouTube about talking about my genuine feelings. Maybe it's because I'm not speaking directly to anybody. Maybe that's why it's easier, and I don't think that's necessarily better. But, I think that's why, because I'm not, directly speaking to somebody about this. I'm just putting it out there. It's almost like like I'm journaling, except it's auditory. And I'm just deciding to share it. So, but I think it'll also be very interesting to look back on this, you know, in a week, even in a few weeks and months and maybe years, and just like listen to this video and see what I think of it then. So yeah, and I say school because, you know, like, it's this weird to me, the way I view it. And I think, I don't know if I already mentioned this in my previous videos, but I actually believe I'm going to make some videos about school and my thoughts on it. So in school, it's like, I'm being told a lot of the time, I need to do this, I should do this, I have to do that. And I'm being wired to think in certain ways, and then, you know, I turn into an adult, and I leave and I graduate school. And now it's just this weird sort of, I have autonomy, more autonomy than I did in school, yet I still don't have that much, because being an adult, I don't believe necessarily equates to freedom per se. And I don't really like to use the word freedom. Because I don't really believe anybody's truly free in this life. So I don't want to use the word freedom. However, I will use the word more like, let me think. I have, more autonomy. However, it's not that much more, because it's like, okay, now I have a job to choose from, right? I don't have many options. If you saw my jobs video, at the moment, there's not many options available to me, whether it's because of my own doing, whether it's not, whatever, you know, your perspective is, my perspective is. And though it is a fact, the reality is that there's only certain jobs available to me at the moment, and I mean, none of them are truly what I want to do. And this is a feeling that is very relatable, I know, because, you know, most people don't get the jobs they want the first few. And I realized this, and once again, the jobs I have worked have not been the absolute worst by any means. So I also want to just make that clear too, you know. It's, you know, but I, you know, still job search, and the job search is another area where it's like, it gives me some despair. It does give me hope. You know, but it also gives me a decent amount of despair. Because a lot of it, I think, comes down to just the person I am, you know, just the decisions I made because of my perspectives, the person I am. And, you know, everybody, you know, lives with their decisions. I think sometimes, you know, decisions are a little bit skewed because your options could be limited. Like, my options are limited in certain ways, and, you know, that those all play a factor into it. So I think, you know, I've been also feeling despair because I try not to look into the future too much because I think that's where a decent amount of the despair comes from too, thinking about, okay, this is where I'm at now. How am I going to get from this point to the point I want to be in a year from now, in 2 years from now, and 3 years from now? How is that going to happen? Is it going to happen? You know, I think about that a lot. And I don't believe it's inherently wrong to think about the future. I think it all comes with a balance, like with a life. Not every aspect in life, it should have a balance. So, and I think mine is a little bit, it's overwhelming where I'm thinking, you know, about my future and I mean, also the present, but it's like, I mean, I think it's just a part of adulting, right? Like, and the despair, I believe, also just comes from, you know, the fact that a lot of people may believe this is selfish of me to say, or it's not okay, or it's disrespectful of me to say. I'm gonna say it anyways. And this is something that many say, and I'm sure it's gonna be like, oh, here's somebody else saying this. So tired of hearing this. But, you know, I didn't choose to be alive. And so there's a lot of beauty to this life. There's a lot of sincerity and happiness and great aspects to this life. Most certainly, that's where the hope comes in. There's also a lot of despair and sadness and anguish and decisions that are sometimes my decisions, other times they're sort of my decision. Like, you know, like, is it my decision to do this? Well, I want to eat. I want to have a place to live. I want, you know, to have clothes. I want, or need, I guess you could say, right? Oh, it's a want. Is it a want? Is it a need? Right? So yeah, in some ways, sure, it's my decision. Though, yeah, there's just a lot of, yeah, like I said, a lot of people aren't going to agree or like that I said that I didn't choose to be alive. The reality is I didn't, and so I didn't sign up to do all of this. I didn't sign up to be a kid. I didn't sign up to be an adult. I didn't. And I mean, you know, there's a lot to that, right? It's like, okay, well, make your own way, pave your own way, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I feel like this video is actually pretty cathartic for me. Cathartic's the word, right? And pretty I forgot the other word I was going to use. Oh, therapeutic. It's kind of therapeutic for me, actually, to make this video, because it's just me laying out my thoughts in real time about what's going on the inside, I guess. And it's very, sorry, I had to make sure I was recording. Great that there's people around me who love me and care for me, and I don't want to take that for granted, and who whether they agree with what I do or not, or certain decisions I make or not, you know, some of them, they think that, okay, like I can be an author, or I I am capable of doing what I want to do career-wise. But even aside from probably career-wise, just life-wise, and that's something, as I said, I acknowledge, and I don't want to be oblivious to that or unaware or forget that by any means. It's hard. It's hard because, once again, my life, by no means, I don't have the hardest life. I don't have the worst life by any means. So it's hard, but I say it's hard because, well, despite all of that, I don't have the hardest life, and I truly mean it. I really don't. The fact that I can do YouTube now, I'm really grateful for, because maybe some people, not maybe, it is, the reality that some people don't do or cannot do YouTube because of whatever reason, or do whatever else they may want to do at that point. They can't do it at that point. They want to do it in their life. Therefore, even just me doing my videos, I'm very happy about that, though I still have a lot of I still have a lot of this well, this is hard for me to talk about. Even though I'm not talking to anyone directly, it's still hard for me to talk about. I still have a lot of this sadness, right? For lack of better, I can't come up with another word right now. I still have a lot of it, and yeah, yeah. What truly keeps me going on to the next day, every day, is the curiosity. I hope I never lose that. I'm a very, very curious person. The curiosity of knowing what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in the next few hours, what's going to happen in the next week, the next month, the next year. That's what keeps me alive. Just being incredibly curious about that, and about other aspects of life too. Just learning about so many different topics. That is the beauty of life to me. Just that curiosity. That's where it lies for me. And my curiosity, that's one of the major aspects that gives me hope in my life. And what also gives me hope in my life, even though I get very down sometimes, I get extremely down sometimes, but what in a way, I guess maybe recenter would be the word. I'm not sure. What counteracts that is being hopeful for the fact that I'm only 20, and so there's still time, most definitely, for me to become an author, to publish my book, and to do all of the other activities I want to do. What gives me hope is the fact that even if it's not happening right now, I mean, it's not, I never expected my channel to be instant. You know, like people are going to subscribe to me in a week, in a month, in a few months. You know, a lot of people are going to subscribe to me or watch my videos. I don't believe it's instant. And so, but I believe that one day, you know, hopefully the people that are interested in the topics I speak about, you know, find my videos and give it a chance. And even though some of my videos look very silly and they look like class presentations, especially my job video, hopefully people, you know, they still, what I say, because that's the main point, is what I'm saying, not so much the images are an aspect to it, but definitely. But hopefully, you know, whatever it is, whether it's the images or my voice, what I'm saying resonates, you know, with people. And I know there's people out there who will relate to my videos because, you know, it's a decent amount of the topics I speak about are the highlights of being in your young adult life, right? The highlights of being in your early 20s. So yeah, that's one of the other aspects that gives me hope, and you know, and of course the people around me who love and care about me, you know, they really help me out as well. And you know, when I'm in these, even though I don't really discuss it too much with many of them, but I know they're there, if that makes sense. And is there anything else that gives me hope? No, I think that's pretty much it. The curiosity that encompasses it all, to my next day. So I think I went over what I wanted to go over in this talk about my feelings. I mean, it's my feelings, so if I have any more I want to discuss, I'll just probably upload another video about it. If I don't even know, since this was more visceral, like, should I even say about liking and subscribing? I don't know. Well, you know, if you relate to this video or if anything resonated with you, it would be nice if you clicked the like button. Once again, I even said this in my social media video, I don't expect this video to get much attention, but, you know, even if people don't give it likes or views, for whatever reason, whether people, you know, I know my channel's pretty much unknown on YouTube, so, you know, the YouTube isn't really, I guess, how do I say, I'm not a part of people's, like, feeds really, but, I forgot what I was talking about now. It's Lifetime, right? I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, I think, yeah, so if people, you know, even if this doesn't get much attention or likes, I'm still glad I made it for myself, you know, and if people, you know, it does resonate with somebody, then that's great too, in a way. I don't know if it's great to be like, okay, there's a lot of people who are, you know, feeling this overwhelming sense of despair like I am. I don't know if that's great, but, you know, but I'm just glad that for the main part is I'm just glad I made this video. Mainly for myself. To actually be, even though I'm still not directly speaking to somebody about this through a video, you know, just to get my feelings out in some way, whether it's handwritten or speaking. It's a really great feeling.